style. You ain't know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. You don't even know my pain. You can't even match my style. You don't even know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, 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 yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah.
Talking about being tired.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
I know most people feel this way, but like it feels like time is speeding up, right? There's this feeling, it's like, dang, it feel like, bro, where did the time go? We all feel this way, right?
It's almost scary, like conspiracy theory, like where you feel like I promise you, I swear to God, like I'll lay down and when I have to get up early for work or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, there's no way that it's that time already. That's impossible. I literally feel like I just laid down. So I don't know if it's a thing with getting older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're looking forward to less so time goes by quicker. I don't know what it is, but I could remember when we were younger waiting like eternities for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a week or 2 weeks away. Now it seems like you look up and you like, damn, today is March, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is it possible? Or like you said, even on a day-to-day basis, when you wake up the next morning for work or appointments or things you got to do, you're like, how did time pass by so quick, bro?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel the same way.
Do you notice too, like we just go back 10 years ago.
Okay.
Bro, you go back 10 years ago and you look, it's like, man, you remember when you would say you were tired 10 years ago, you remember what you were tired from. Now you look at now and what you're tired from. It's a totally different thing, right?
Well, is it more mental now than physical?
No, I think it's more physical now.
It's more
right?
physical now.
Because look at like how
Really.
much busier you are now than you were 10 years ago. How much more you're
Facts.
involved in. And so then you look back 10 years ago, like, well, okay, why was I tired then?
Right.
You know what I
Just
mean? Because
something
I
you said,
question, I'm like, and then I start thinking, how much was I really getting done? Because you look at now, you're like, damn, nigga, I am tripling my hustle right now. I'm actually, so then it make you look back like, okay, what was I doing?
I think you start to realize that's true 100%. But I think you start to realize what you're capable of as you get older. And the more that you're capable of, the more that you think you're capable of, the more you start to take on. But that's one of the things also that makes you tired, because now you feel like you're capable of these things, but they're not moving at the pace that you hope that they would be moving at. So that's even more draining. Like it's even more draining because damn, I know that I can do this. I know that I could get this accomplished. I wouldn't have took this on if I didn't have confidence in myself to be able to do it. But damn, why do it feel like I'm walking in mud right now in quicksand? And I think that's draining. That is draining.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you like going to a job that like, I really envy people whose career, like the job that makes them money every day that they get up and go to. I really envy those people like that. That's the love of their life. That's what they do.
I'm with you.
Like I envy those people, bro, because I feel like you would be less tired if that was the case. Like if I wasn't trying to make this my full-time living and trying to figure out how to make it where I could have a sustainable lifestyle with just doing this, and I allocated all of my time to this, I would be tired. I probably would be just as tired or more, but I'd be more fulfilled. Like those people that get fulfillment from jobs, that shit is amazing to me.
That fills the
like
void.
I envy those. Oh my God.
It fills that void.
And it makes the tiredness worth it. Sometimes the tiredness, and we'll get into this with routines, but sometimes the tiredness just doesn't feel worth it because things aren't moving as fast as you wanted to move. And you be like, man, God. And like we were talking about before the show, like just give me 10 minutes, man, because everybody pissed me off today. Everybody pissed me off. Nobody was on the same page as me, or wasn't getting my point across, or fucking it was traffic. They messed up my Uber Eats order, whatever it is. But all of that shit add into it on a daily basis. Like, man, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah. And it's really like that. Like in my job today, like my supervisor, like she just broke down, bro. Just like flat out tears, bro. Like all the way.
What?
I mean, come on.
Like,
Come on.
black lady.
All due respect, but come on, like you know how we are. You ain't never gonna get us in that way. But respectfully though, but like, but she really broke down, and it's because I mean, it's a lot of pressure on her, bro. It's a lot of pressure. Now, of course, if that was me or you or whoever, we would be like, hey, look, it's just a job, bro. Like, we wouldn't have, it would never have gotten to that point. It would have been like, all right, more so, all right, everybody listen up. This what's going on. I'm behind. So anything y'all need, y'all gonna have to get in line. Like we would have, assess the situation and say, this is what's going on. But she's not that same type of way. And she broke down. And so it was immediately like, okay, let's get with her and let's figure out how to expedite the load, because
everybody automatically felt sorry for it. So
it wasn't really everybody. It was only two of us upstairs, so it was like me and another lady.
So her point got across. Like that's the.
But she not really not like that. Like she
that's still their superpower though. Even if they don't want to use it, that's white women's superpower.
What is it?
I can get into this emotional bag and everybody's gonna come running. Everybody's what's Susie, man? We're sorry. Like we'll do more. I just think that's their superpower. No knocking.
It is their superpower. I know what you mean. You're right. They get that off. Like now there's some people I work with, some white ladies that I've seen it do, and I'm like, okay, and then they won't be successful because I'm like, oh, you don't really know how to use it. You don't know how to use that white lady sympathy, like But I think genuinely because me and her, like, she's very well versed in culture and things. Not trying to be black, nothing like that. She's just more well versed in things, And I knew what it was because she'll have moments where it's like, thank you for just hearing me. I'm like, are you good? You all right? Like, you cool? Like, she's like, I'm not, good and this and that. And then we'll be done. I'm like, all right, well, look, you just can't. I just, being myself. You can't let it really. I said, look, it's just a job. Like, you're doing your best, and there's no higher level than best. Like, so just take that with you. You know what I mean? It would be done. Like, I just thank you for, just seeing how I was doing. Like, and she'll be truly grateful in that space, and that concerns me in a way, just as a human. I'm like, dang, bro, that's rough. Like, you don't really, So, but whatever.
I commend you, bro. You're a very empathetic dude. Like, you're good.
The human experience is hard, bro. Like it's really hard, bro. Like, I don't think people don't understand how this experience is. It's a lot more challenging than what they selling you. When you step away from what they selling you.
No, that's true. But let me ask you this though, because here's my problem. It's gonna sound crazy, like you said. The human experience is hard, but when I see people doing it, it's like, and if anybody listening to this feel me, I know it's gonna be Dro. It's like, so
and
what,
Rich,
nigga?
probably.
Rich too, probably. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, so what, nigga? I had a hard day too. Like, why you get to cry about it if people get to run to your fucking, like, I wish I don't wish I could, but like you just said, life is hard. Mm-hmm. I don't have the luxury of being able to break down and have anybody console me about it. So why do I need to console you about it? And I know that's an arrogant asshole way to look at it, but that's just how sometimes I look at it. And I'm being judgmental or rolling my eyes at someone else's feeling, because empathy is one of the hardest emotions for me.
Oh, yeah,
like, I can get it, I can understand it, and I can sympathize with your situation, but feeling for you, like, nah, bro.
Well, here's why, Spike. Here's why. Because why? you gotta come to a conclusion. I got it like that. Yeah, I wish somebody would come from me. Well, I wish somebody would come and empathize with me when I'm going through. Why ain't nobody? But I got it like that. I'm handling it so well, even though I wish I didn't have to do it on my own. I got room to actually say, okay, what you got going on? How you doing? See, that's the you gotta. It's not an even kill. Everybody ain't a Spike Lee. Everybody ain't a Maurice. Seriously. So I got enough grit in me to say, hey, you know what? I wish somebody would empathize with me. It would be nice from time to time somebody say, yo, I see where you coming from, bro. I get it. Like, nigga, that. But even if they don't, I'm carrying this so enough to be like, you know what? While I'm carrying this on a journey, let me holler at you. What's going on with you? And because you looking at it, it could be a superpower. Like, to me, the wins are the influence, the impact. And that's another moment of impact. Like, it's like that could. You don't know the trajectory you change for people by taking that moment. If I stop and say, oh, what make in Olivia Soprano, like, what makes you so special? Like if I stop and have that mindset, then that's an opportunity missed, kind of. You know what I mean? But it's like in reality, it's like, bro, you could change somebody's life in that moment. I want to, nigga, I'm on mic, off mic with this. So it's like you have something for people, and sometimes you don't know it because you'll hold it back for all of those reserves. Like you said, I'm not good with empathy. I don't feel niggas like that. You know what I'm saying? But
Jesus. Jesus Christ.
All right. Hey, take it easy. No, this guy, he waiting on it, bro. But like seriously, you have things about you that could benefit people. And just by saying something, even if they may take it, it may not. Who cares? It's not a waste, no time lost. But you saying, before even saying something, you just stop and be like, nigga, I got my own things going on. Whatever, nigga, figure it out.
Yeah,
it don't hurt you. It don't cost you nothing, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying.
It kind of do though. It kind of does. Like now I'm in this web of whatever you got going on with you. Now I've invested in it, and I got to care a little bit. And you might overstep. Like you may like now start asking me for favors, or you may like just trauma dump on me and like just, oh, I'm glad you asked, and just.
How will you know if you don't try though? Just. Get out your comfort zone, Spike Lou. You don't even know. It may not even be that. I'm
protecting my mental health, bro. I'm protecting my mental health.
You stronger than that. You got to be stronger than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why I got to be strong? What are people that need to be strong for me?
I know. I feel you. Check on your strong. When I say that,
absolutely, and that's the thing. And it's slightly, very slightly resentful because again, no one does that. People don't usually do that for me. Like.
Okay, let's get to the core of it then.
Okay, take a small moment out this week. Rich reached out and said that which was dope in our group chat. I hope y'all brothers are having a strong. Like people don't really necessarily do that in my direction. Rich, my mom just recently started doing it, which made me wonder: was I coming off depressed? Like, did I say or do something where she thought something was wrong with me? Because now again, I've said on here before, my family isn't the most we ain't the most sentimental family. Like we love each other 100% and we love spending time with each other, but it's not a real emotional thing. But now at the beginning of every week, my mama shoot me a text and she'll be like, you're great. Hope you have a great week, son. I love you. Just those words every Monday, same time, every time. But this just recently started happening, and it made me wonder, was I coming out soft or something? Like, was I overly complaining about something to her, and she thought that something was wrong with me? Like that's just how I look at it.
Why do you go to defense so quickly?
Because I always wonder what sparked the thought in other people. Where did that come from? You didn't just get it out of nowhere. Did something happen that you didn't say something about to me? Were you looking at me a certain way, and you think that? This may not be off, and versus you asking me, you assuming that it's this. It's not really defense. It's just, okay, where did that come from?
It kind of is, though.
We've established that I'm an overthinker, though. It's not defense in the sense of, it's not a defense in the sense of I'm skeptical of it because I do appreciate it. Like I said, Rich. I don't think you
appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. It always means something to me. I guess that's one of the harder things for people to realize, and might be why they don't do it. Maybe they don't think that I appreciate it, but that stuff goes a long way for me because it's few and far between for me. Like people usually don't do that towards me. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, that was dope. Damn, I really appreciate it. How the endorphins or oxycontin or whatever it makes release in your brain, when you get a compliment, you're like, oh, okay, I really meant when we read the comments. And I think we're supposed to read one for this episode before we go to it.
Man, good looking nigga.
So when we read the comments from here, bro, that shit means the word. The one that you're going to read today, the second one, the second one, you know how many times people have said that to me, man, you need to start. You said it. You've said to me what he told both of us at the end of that one. Y'all niggas need to lean into it more. Y'all them dudes that are doing this. So I guess that answers your question as far as that, but you had something else you was asking.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, and I get I've been overthinker. These are characteristics. This is a part of you. Everything don't need to change about people. So this is not the sentiment that I'm echoing. But I think that I don't want you to rob yourself of the deed because you're looking at what's the origin of it. And if you're caught into where's this coming from more so than thank you, and I'm glad it's coming from you, you may rob yourself of the deed itself. Because now you want, because you're an overthinker, you'll analyze it for where it's coming from versus I'm just glad it came. And that's what I mean, where it's like like things like what we talking about with the lady at work, or like things like your mom was like, yo, I'm just glad you did that. I don't even care where it came from. You whatever the buildup was, you felt the need to do it, and I'm grateful for it. Cool, right on. I ain't gonna even think about where it came from.
Really? You don't think that's a luxury some people have over others? Like, and it may be.
I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice.
Well, I think it's instilled in us early. Like in some places, you don't get anything for free. Like some places that you grow up, like some I'm not even sure the word that I'm looking for, but what I gather from you is you didn't have to be skeptical of people giving you compliments, maybe because they just wanted to be around you and they wanted something from you.
No, I definitely got to be scared. I think I think the Black experience alone, you always are skeptical. So I do think there's a difference, but I don't think that somebody complimenting you doesn't cost you anything. If you're if you've already set your boundaries, nobody can get over, like they can't get over on you when you already got that wall put up for, like, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, by the way, nope. Like if you got,
but see, for me, so my bad. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead. You got it.
For me, it's more so like the overthinking comes in. Okay, where are you coming from with this? And then I think the only child part plays into it is like, okay, this determines how I need to treat you. Like, did you say that because you genuinely meant it? Now I can be nicer to you, or now we can have that genuine bond? Or were you trying to be slick, or you trying to be funny? Now I got to be skeptical of you because I don't really believe it because it don't sound genuine. Mm-hmm. So that's the root cause of it for me. Like, be trying to understand, because I want to reciprocate that, because that's when, again, I can't be sympathetic, very sympathetic. So I do want the people that do feel that way and do give those genuine compliments, I genuinely want them to get the same thing from me. But in my mind, I have to analyze, okay, where did that come from? So, because I need to know how to respond to it moving forward. I don't want to be out here looking like Willie Lump Lump, being nice to you, and the whole time you're trying to be funny. So,
I mean, I see where you're coming from. I think you should give yourself more credit. I think you should give yourself more credit on the bounce back. When you're being vulnerable with people, because it sounds like this is a kind of a vulnerable area for you. Just something as small as that, a compliment. That for Spike Lee, that's a vulnerable space on how I receive it. I think you should give yourself more credit on, if it ain't what I thought it was in a positive manner, and you got ulterior motives, I know I can bounce back regardless. Because I have done this before where people was like, oh, it's one way. I thought it was one way, but it's the other way. I think you give yourself more credit. I think that you don't look silly. You don't look stupid. You don't look ignorant if somebody got over on you. You look human. And I think that when you guard yourself daily like that with everything, it's a hard place to get on offense. Because that is a defensive position. I got to be protective all the time with myself, which is understandable because we're all very sensitive to our mental. But when you're always on defense, it makes it very hard to find a place of being the aggressor, of loving, being the aggressor on compliment, being the aggressor in those areas. Because in order for me to get off of defense, I got to be so comfortable in what we've established in this relationship that I'm saying, okay, I ain't even got to second guess this. Let me get on offense. Matter of fact, nigga, what's up with you, bro? What's up, girl? I'm just checking on you, cuz. Like, and that's important. So I see where you come. I think that you're stronger than where you were probably in the initial, only child, and how it has built the character and the man that Spike Lee is. But I think that you're stronger than that. And I think that give yourself more credit. I am able to bounce back. But again, I'm not your therapist, so I don't know your exact mental state. It could be a lot more detrimental than I even know. So that's kind of my observation on it.
That's a good observation. And for me, I don't really even think it's about bouncing back. It's about, okay, now Well, okay, yeah, I mean, it's not bouncing back. It's more so now. This is gonna occupy space in my mind because now I gotta repay the favor. Now you
Oh my
was trying to
gosh,
be
bro!
funny.
Oh my
You
god,
trying to be
Spike
funny, my
Lou,
nigga?
this
Okay,
guy,
I got you.
get it back in
I
blood
got you,
over
man.
here.
Yeah, getting it back in blood. Now I gotta repay the favor.
That's funny.
I mean, but that's just how you look at
Yeah,
it.
I get
Yeah,
it though.
jokingly.
Yeah,
But that's just how you. I think that's how you look at things when you don't have brothers and sisters or people
yeah.
that you're that close to. Because I think, and I think we've spoken to this before. When you're coming up, regardless of the relationship that you have with your brothers and sisters, now there's always this, oh, it's us versus the parents or the world or whatever it may be. When you're not fighting and
Mm-hmm.
having those sibling rivalries, you do still feel like I got this person that has my back. I know,
Mm.
like we grew up in the house together. They're similar to me. That's one of the biggest things is only children that you never receive. So you always feel like, okay, it's me against everybody else.
Mm.
Like regardless of, and I think that's a big thing. Now, probably therapists, if we brought D'Anthony back on, I think that's a big thing. It probably is marriages and relationships for only children, because you never really get
Mm.
that buy-in from an only child. It's like, okay, it's us together. Like it's really hard to do that
Mm.
for me. Like, okay, it's us. We fighting together without feeling like someone will let you down or won't live up to their end of the bargain, especially if you feel like you're giving it your everything or all.
Mm. Wow. That's wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of ground to cover. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, we all works in progress, man.
Mm-hmm.
It all works in progress. You guys did not know, you know where you at now after that opening monologue. Another week in the books, AWITV.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 81, plan the work the plan. Shout out to our guy, co-author that's been on this thing helping us out. Dro came up with this. He hit me up and he was like, man, I really would like to know you, Spike Lou, what you do, what your everyday routine is, and Mo, especially being a new father and just figuring this thing out. Like, what are the routines that brothers have out here that ensures that they're going to continue on the path that they want to be on, to success, to being the man that they want to be? Like, what do you make sure that you do? What's hard about it? What's not hard about it? Like, how did you come up with it? Just digging into the day to day and the step by step of what makes us us. So this should be a really fun episode. But before we get there, Mo,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things we want to touch on the check-ins and the relevant events and thoughts. Something I thought about,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought of you this week when I was looking at some current event stuff, and I'll ask you about it, but I wanted to know what you had first.
Okay. A couple of things. So first we're gonna check in on the email, man. It says our
oh yes, read that.
yeah, this is our guy Brentel, man. He's so great with the words,
Brentel, man.
Yeah, Brentel's that guy, man. Hey, man, I told you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate you, brother. If you want a job over here and you feel you could be in a great asset to what we're trying to build here, man, please let us know, because we appreciate you, and even the stuff you put over there at Good Earners as well. But he sent 2 emails. The first email says, subject line, welcome back, Mo, and congratulations. First off, Mo, congratulations on the arrival of your baby boy. I just want to give you brothers, first off, Mo, congratulations on the arrival of your baby boy. I just want to give you kudos for creating this much needed platform. Also, this episode, talking about the last episode, chapter 80, this episode made me realize how much I missed the dynamic between you guys. The incredible chapters you two are authoring is truly legendary and unique. Thanks for all the hard work and dedication you put into delivering week after week. And then
you responded to him.
I did respond to him. Huh?
Okay. What'd you say?
So I didn't want to, and again, I wasn't trying to be some kind of like arrogant guy or nothing like that. I just wanted, I said, well, what makes you say legendary? Because Brentel he's very intentional about his words. When he left the Apple review on Good Earners, it was perfect. It should have been like almost like our bio, that how perfect he wrote it. So I really want to know. I said, what made you say legendary? And because me and Spike, we have a certain understanding of what the show is, but sometimes, people, have their own interpretation. And he says, I say that because of the story. Think about it. two random dudes doing a podcast to get to know each other and build chemistry for Good Earner Pod, and stumbling upon something that is impactful and timeless, geared towards Black men, conversations that are needed. And let's throw in the fact that y'all are inspiring the listeners to be open and vulnerable, holding each other accountable, and being thoughtful enough to ask questions instead of getting offended on a weekly basis. What other podcast do you know provides that level of insight? While I'm at it, I need y'all to start moving around with the championship swag, because this is the best podcast going on right now. We are not lying when we say that. So stand in that and poke y'all chest out. That's Brentel. Wow.
No, I need that every now and then. I need people to tell me that.
Wow.
What were your thoughts about that?
I mean, thank you for the congratulations, Brentel, first and foremost. Like, I appreciate that. It's truly a blessing. Like I said, I'm blessed that God saw fit to continue my bloodline when I'm not here. And also just with the podcast, it'll be crazier years down the road when we're doing a Breakfast Club interview. You know, I'm speaking it, but like when we do the Breakfast Club interview, how this is all like happened, like he said, building this from something else, and then it became its own brand within it, and like how it's impact people. You know, shouts out to the Thanksgiving episode. It just hit me again. I haven't listened to the Thanksgiving episode yet. I'm saving that for like when I'm really down and I need that like fuel. I'm gonna go listen to it. I ain't listened to it yet with all the listeners, like, you know, but it just, when he said that, it blessed me. And it's like, he's like, y'all two together. And then of course, like Rich saying like, hey, y'all, he said, y'all two is y'all Michael and Quincy. And it's like, yo, Michael and Quincy, bro. Like he said, oh, Good Earth. I'm like, hey, yo, like, and I get it.
Who are you?
I guess I'm Quincy. I guess I'm Quincy. You on air talent, so right? That's what you said. So I guess I'm Quincy. Hey, y'all go watch that y'all go watch the Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix. They talk about We Are the World, how they got all them legends there. But anyway, but yeah, I
think I'm Quincy, Ma. I think you Michael. You the talented, like you. I just think you Mike. You.
All right, we go deep. We go dive. Okay, we go dive into y'all. Who's Quincy and who's Mike here? Like y'all tell us like what's up. Like, that's dope. I like that. I like to see your take, but just so I could throw a ball in your court. I'm grateful for it, and I think he's absolutely on the ball when he says that. Where can you get this? I know, I don't know if it was him or another listener who was just saying like, hey, y'all should change the name or the theme, the concept, like more so to like this being therapy. But I never wanted to change this to therapy. And the reason that is because I think there is a beautiful middle ground of us having these conversations where, you know, either it has meaning or it has no meaning. It depends on how you want to interpret it. It's extra deep or it's just surface level. It's what putting the therapy on it. It changes the dynamic of what this is.
Make it too serious.
It makes it too serious.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily a serious show in the sense of, and I know you said this versus Good Earners, you get to have more fun, but that still doesn't make, like, we don't get on here and try to serious each other out.
Yep.
Like, I think we just get on here and we're able to have real conversations, and people aren't used to Black men having real conversations with each other without disagreeing, without it getting overly theatrical, with it just being, okay, these are just two brothers talking, man. And the more that we can keep it in that lane of, it's not as serious as therapy, but it also ain't no joke, which is what I was talking about when we were talking about when you were away and me not just wanting to have anybody on here and make it an interview like a regular podcast. The best thing about this and the dynamic that makes it so good, like you said, when they're writing the script to this movie of how this whole thing happened, and you're on the Breakfast Club and we're talking about it, the best thing about it is we are just Black men talking. There is no preachy, I need you to do this and y'all should be out here doing that, and you're a high value Black man. Like, bro, like, miss us with all of that shit. This is just two men who are trying to figure it out, who are also able to take a look at each other and be like, hey man, I think if you did this, it may be able to help you, because I'm being a friend. I'm being observant enough for the person that I met to understand your tics, your personality, some of the things that I notice about you. And if I'm wrong, you can call me out on it, or I can call you out on it, and we can continue to keep it moving. It took some working to get to that point, but we are there. Like the best thing about this is a comfortable space where I don't feel like I would have to hold anything back.
Yeah, same.
Either in critique from you or in even praising you. And I think that you'll take it one way or the other, because I know that based off where this space is going, like, that I'm coming from a genuine place. Like, that I ain't trying to be malicious. I ain't trying to embarrass you. When I'm asking you stuff, and I feel the same way. And there are very few people in my life that I feel that way too. So I do salute you in that.
Same
you have
brother.
a great personality in the same. You have a great personality and being like, look, bro, I just want to know. I ain't here to judge you. I just want to know, and here's what I think about it. It's hard for you to do that with your friends. It's hard for you to do that. Well, we are friends, but they're friends that you've known for a long time.
Yeah, for the day one, day two, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that because they think they know you. Like, they don't get to grow up with you every day. Like because they have this image in the mind. I remember when we were 15, 16, 17 years old, and you did this wild, crazy shit, and I did this wild, crazy shit, and we had this altercation about this, or we got into it with these dudes about this. Like, all of that's ingrained in their mind. Me and you, to Brentel's comment there, like, the wonderful thing about this, and like what's going to stun people the most, like, if there were marketing dollars behind this, if there were a big network like iHeart or something like this would catch on like wildfire.
Oh, boy.
Because the story is unique. This is different.
Yeah.
We just haven't took the time to get it to the people who need to put it out there and let people understand that we're doing this. So right now it's still that niche thing where the people that know, and they listen to it and they love it, and they have the same feeling that Brentel has. But even when it reaches the masses and more people are talking about it, they're going to be fascinated in the backstory. Like, well, y'all don't know each other, and this content sounds like this. Like, yeah, I
this
totally
is gonna be
agree.
what it's gonna be what Royce and Lupe was trying to do.
But like, they knew each other. Even
not really, not really though. Remember, like they really, they didn't. That was like why it ended up landing where it landed, because it's like they didn't really know each other for real.
Okay, so they got the beefing about that.
Yeah, they got the beefing. It's like but like you said, so it's a beautiful thing. Like you said, this is we're still on our mixtape run. We ain't released our first album. You know what I mean? When we drop that album, so to speak, in the podcast world, it's gonna be like, yo, our niggas
for a budget for that first album.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be Get Rich or Die Trying, bro. We're building up. We're doing we on a 50 wave with the mixtapes right now. But when we get to that Get Rich Die Trying status, it's gonna be like, oh man, our guys have made it, and we ain't gonna be no compromise in the quality. So, man, thank you, Brentel, man. We would like to walk around with our chest out. I will say, there is that, shouts out to our episode, Quiet Male Confidence, but I understand that there's a service that we're providing, and I don't take that lightly. I, like Spike said, like, I don't let anybody up here. And I personally understand, the nicheness. Like, as a producer, I'm always, once I get enough time of what we're doing and I listen back to everything, I'm like, okay, now I see this is the gym. So then that's why we made modifications to the show's format. I understand now, okay, move this, take this out. This is the gold. And now I understand our market, and I understand our direction. So I'm glad that it's not falling on deaf ears, and I'm glad to be back. What was you gonna say, bro?
I was gonna ask you to check the post your checkout portion of it. Like, do you feel like that? Like, do you feel like I can hold my own with anybody that does this?
I do feel like
whatever skill set that you bring to the table, like, it don't matter if it's like, I wouldn't go up on Joe Budden podcast and freeze up, because I know that there's however many million people listening, or the Breakfast Club and freeze up. Like, do you feel that way?
I do.
Okay.
I was I was on the podcast with these guys, Film Crickets, 2 white guys. I've been on there twice, reviewing a couple of different movies, but like, they don't know me like that. But when I got on there, they quickly, after that first one, it's like, hey, we got to have you back.
They knew you was that dude.
Yeah, well, they didn't know me like of whatever, but it was
after.
Well, yeah, afterwards they was like, hey, yeah, we gotta have you back, man. Just they felt that, and these guys are just cool, 2 white guys, they super cool guys, and they've added a woman to the mix, and I got to do a wonderful life over there. But like, yeah, man, like, I'm very confident
You're
because
pretty confident in what you do in this space.
We put enough hours into this. Like me and you, like and we're gonna move forward. But like I'm grateful for you because you gave me what I always wanted. Pause. As far as this podcast space,
I was gonna say this.
Hey, y'all know we stupid. Y'all please don't get on us like, oh, y'all always pause. Don't get on us, whatever. But like, no, seriously, like you gave me what I wanted in this podcast space in regards to like getting those hours in of recording, getting the chops up. I always felt comfortable, confident. Like even if y'all go back to the early episodes of this, you could see like I'm excited, giggly, jumpy, because I'm just excited. Like, yo, I'm about to do something on a consistent basis in the podcast space with my bros. It was every other week and maybe every other 3 weeks if I could, So doing this with you, like, okay, he's a professional. I'm gonna be able to do this consistently, and it really brought me along on the mic. Of course, my off the mic grew as well, but like, so I'm grateful for that. And now we're in this space where it's blessing people and it's blessing us. So I'm grateful for you for that. I know you salute me, but I salute you for giving me the opportunity to be able to work with a professional that gave me the consistency I needed to be able to record as frequent as we do, man. And shouts out to Rich as well, man.
Absolutely, man. And thank you. And I know you didn't ask, but I feel the same way. Like, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Because that's one of the biggest compliments that people can give me. Like, I am a professional at this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it go back to our first conversation that we're having. Motherfuckers come ask me, "Oh, how's the podcast doing?" I'm like, man, shut up. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, which one? Like, which one or which aspect of podcasting
are you even
asking me about? Yeah, like, what are you asking me about right now? Because I feel like people know that I do it, and they say, "Oh, well, let me ask him that because I feel like he relate to it," versus understanding the gravity of what I do in this space. Like you said, I am a professional.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be as paid as a professional as I'd like to be right now, but even in the sense of doing this and putting the hours in and coming up with concepts for good earners, like I didn't really realize I was sitting down doing a breakout of what I wanted to achieve this year. I know it's late, it's March, but I was just writing some things down and I was going over with somebody and they was like, wait, you do all of these hours as far as recording, but then you also executive produce. I just started executive producing. Is the mic still on? And I executive produce for DeadEnd Sports, coming up with the topics and the things that we're going to talk about that will make it relevant for the week. And then this, me and you collaborate on it on deck. And then good earners, like not only just getting on here and recording, but also coming up with stuff that people think.
Yeah, you off air with it now too.
Absolutely. Like, so thank you, one, for saying professional. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that too. Like it ain't too many people that can fuck with me in doing this. And it ain't a lot of things that I felt like that in my life towards. So that's why I really leaned into this and like, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing that I want to be accomplished, that I want to feel proud of. And when people, like you just said, like they look at me and they start asking me about it, like, oh, how's the podcast doing? And I'm breaking down all of these different things. It's like, oh, he's a professional. He ain't a nigga that just grabbed a microphone and they talking about,
we just babbling.
Shit on these
nigga babble.
Nah, this ain't that. It's not that. And I love when people realize that when they get in the midst of talking to me about it, they're like, oh shit, this different. Like this
you got to up your game. You got to up your game. Like when you dealing with a Spike Lee, you dealing with an Animal Brown, you got to up your game. Like you got to understand, like, no, these dudes do it. Like you're a decade plus already. So you got your hours already. Now you're getting to the point. Like, I don't know if you see actors that, like, for example, and we're gonna move on, but like 90210, like Jason Priestley, he's one of the main characters. But then after so many seasons, he started directing episodes. You start seeing directed by Jason Priestley. So now you getting your off-air chops on. So that means a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like you getting your Kanye on while I'm producing and I'm rapping. You know what I'm saying? So that goes a long way
too. Like not just, oh, let me try this and see if it works. Like, no, like you just said, I don't even know his real name, but I'll take Michael Imperioli from the Sopranos.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Not just I'm Chrissy on the show acting and I'm killing that, but I also can confidently step into another role because I am killing this and I do know what I'm doing and I'm going to kill that as well. And it's going to continue to grow and build from that. So again, shout out to Brentel, man. That was
shout out to Brentel, man.
We really appreciate the vote of confidence that you've given us from this. So yeah. 100%.
Thank you, man. And thank you, man. We always appreciate you. Just, it's okay to compliment brothers. Like it's okay. Like you feel good. I love complimenting brothers. Like just telling like, hey, bro, you doing it. Like, hey, bro, I appreciate it. I seen you. I see what you did. Like, hey, you know. So man, thank you. So yeah. Something I saw what you did. That's crazy. Another thing in the check-in before we get to talking about routines and structure. There was something that happened to me that was quite the momentum builder. So there's this guy. I don't think he listens to the podcast, but he's a role listener. And he had reached out to me months ago. I think I still got his text in here. Let me see. His name, Leroy. Okay. So this guy named Leroy. I know the name, right? Yeah, I know. When I see Leroy, I was like, bro. But he wasn't what I thought he was. Like, he didn't look like what I thought either. So Leroy.
White Leroy?
No, it's black Leroy.
No white Leroy.
No, it's not. It's black. White Leroy is crazy.
White Leroy would have been nuts.
I ain't picking up the phone. Like White Leroy, like White Darius. It's like, no, I can't pick up the phone with a White Leroy.
White Maurice too. Ain't no White Maurice.
White Maurice is, unless you French. Like if you out there somewhere, like I can give you that. But like if you over here, nah. But so this guy named Leroy, he heard the podcast. His wife listened to Ro. And his wife was so into it. She's like, basically like told her husband, Leroy, like, hey, you should check this out. I think this is really good. He checked it out. He reached out to me. I reached back to him, just responding like on the email, because I always put my email in the show. So he was just like, I'm so inspired by the show. I want to do my own version of this, like do my own thing with my guys. And so that's all I heard from him. So while time had passed, I said, man, do your thing. He sent me like a little bit of, because he said people say I got a voice that could do. I'm like, all right, cool, bro, do your thing. Months later, he reaches out to me and says, hey, man, we want to get you on a Zoom if that's okay. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Him and his wife?
No, him and his boys, his two other guys. They get me on. So we set up a Zoom last Sunday. I get on there. I meet him for the first time. Don't know this guy, and meet his guys. So we on there, and they basically they of course they shared their love for the show, but then also they looked for me for counsel. And so this was my first opportunity of being like a consultant in the space. I've never done this before. But I know you can relate to this. You're very surprised at how much you know, because you've been going through the motions of you picking up more information as a podcaster. You're picking up as a producer. You're picking up these things. So they're asking me things. I'm saying, and I'm telling them like, okay, when it comes to the script, this is how you do it. You guys got different sounds. Y'all want to record. Y'all need to do a table read on like, here's like, I'm going through it and I'm surprised at how much I know. And so we get through that and we probably talk for a good hour. I get to ask like, what's your favorite moment? I just got to know this. Like we have some good laughter and stuff. I told keep me in touch. And they was like, hey man, if you need an acting spot, man, we got you. I'm like, cool. We get off. Leroy calls me back probably like 15 minutes after. I went for a walk because I was on such a high. I had to talk to myself and like, just process. He hits me back. He's like, hey man, again, man, because I told him a story about a dude I reached out to that kind of gave me the Hollywood type deal. He was just kind of like, hey man, this is my rate. I was like, oh damn, okay. And I didn't reach out. Then somebody tagged me back into it. Then he was like, hey, let's work. So I was like, oh, okay, now you want some act right. Anyway, so he was like, man, I appreciate that, man, especially hearing that story about dude, like kind of like, so he's like, hey man, so $100, would that do it? $100. You want to send me some money? He's like, yeah, man, we just appreciate your time and everything. Yeah, so what you got?
How long was you on there?
Probably an hour. I like an hour, probably hour 10.
Okay.
He cashed at me $100. Bro, when I tell you that was the first money that I made from podcasting, like and being consulting, that meant so much to me, bro. I damn near cried. Like I was like, bro, that was it's like it showed me I'm in the right direction for this. Like I can't go into it because I know we long with it. I want to get to our actual theme and all that, but like that held so much weight to me. The dude, like immediately, like, and I told him, I said, bro, you don't understand. It's like the barbershop when the barber keeps that first bill in the frame. I said, you don't understand what that means. Like you invested into this, like this thing I made during the pandemic. You don't understand, bro. Like, and it was just
Correct me if I'm wrong here in my assumption. But I bet that at some point in time, well, you're a very Christian man, so it wasn't to the universe. You was probably praying to God. And you put this out here. You said that you wanted to see some type of monetary value from podcasting, didn't you?
Probably so. I think so at some point. Yeah.
That's happened.
I think so. Yeah. I think I did. Yeah. Some kind of, yeah, you're right. Because I have.
I know you have. Because I did the same thing. And it was a surprise like that for me. And I remember when my first check hit from like, damn, I wasn't even expecting that. If somebody shot me this for doing something that I just like you, all of the stuff that you explained, I don't want to take any of the shine away from you.
No, I'm not tripping about it.
What the thing that struck out for me, because I remember that feeling. I remember asking like the universe to be like, man, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, even if it's $1, I need to make something from this. And that's when I started getting the opportunities of being like, okay, we're gonna give you this for this. This is going. You're going to get this direct deposit every month for this that you've done with us for this show.
Man,
like even over the holidays, like what we've been doing on deck, like it took a long time to start making money from that. But when the holidays came, it was like we were able to cash out a nice little Christmas gift, like a nice little Christmas, because it wasn't nothing that I was depending on. I didn't have to live off of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, me and AB split down. Like it was like, okay, somebody can get a good gift from this.
You know what I mean? Come on, like yeah.
I'm not doing this for nothing. Is what you make it makes you feel like, because a lot of the times in this space, if you're not a Joe Budden, if you're not a Royce and Lupe, like we said, you're not a T.I., if you're not these people who have these famous names going into this podcast, people find it hard to understand how you can make money from this. And it's just about the work that you put in, what you do, and the network that you create. Like you said, Leroy found you through Roll, not even any of the other ones that you do on a more consistent basis, but you were able to turn that into a consulting thing. And that always feels good. Like that always makes you feel like, okay, I can, it's a gift and a curse in a sense. And it's just like with golf. It makes you feel like, damn, I didn't know that I could have been doing this for a while and getting this, but also I'm appreciative of it. And golf is like, oh, you've been out here, you've been sucking, and you finally hit this good shot and you want to do it more. So now I'm sure you got that quench, and we even had a pre-roll conversation about Patreon. So now you've got that quench. You like, I know that it's possible now. I know that it's there.
That's it. So that part.
No, I felt it. I paused. I've been there as well. So I'm 100% on the same page with you.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, man. That went. I can't tell you. I was on a high. I was like, because that's on my my
buy your wife dinner.
I think I definitely bought something for her. Like it was something that was conducive to. Yeah, it wasn't like on some like, oh, I'm about to quietly keep this. No, immediately like, babe. You got look, check this out. I had to build the story up like, like immediately, like, but
she had to know it's worth it. All this time away from my husband, while he's.
I mean, you got this from facts.
Like she had to know that
facts, bro. Like facts. You just over here having fun, and I got our son. You know what I mean? Like,
the plan.
Exactly. Like it's for real. Like and I've had that conversation. I'm like, babe, this is like she got her associate's degree last year, in social work. I don't know the exact thing, but she's going back for her bachelor's. And I mean, she cooked. I mean, the black queen, she did her thing. Now she's about to get ready, getting geared up for her bachelor's. And I know, like you know, in school as well. And I had to tell her, I said, babe, this is my school. Doing this, when I do all this is my school. Eventually, it's gonna pay off to a degree, so to speak, in monetary. This is my school. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm best at. So I know that it seems like I'm just lollygagging or having fun or whatever you think, but no, I'm very intentional, and there's a purpose to it. So it's for real.
This is for real.
Yeah. So, but man, shouts out to Leroy, man. Shouts out to the fellas. Hey, man, if y'all ever hear this, man, I appreciate you, brothers, and y'all hit me up anytime. We can chop it up. It's all to the gift.
Where Leroy from?
I think he's from Illinois.
Interesting.
But he lives in South Carolina or something like that, I think.
I knew it had to be somewhere down south, Leroy. I didn't know the origin stuff. I knew Leroy was something.
Hey, man, they were some cool brothers too, man. Like, and I just was so grateful that, like, and that's why if I were you, like, if you got fans and people like hopping, you know, chopping up with you, I would ask them, like, what's your favorite moment that I've done? Like, just because you need, like, I asked them, I was like, what was your favorite moment, like, from the show? Like, I just need to know. And like, it was so funny when they told me their favorite moment. I just laughed, like, cause Leroy, and I'm moving on, but Leroy was like, he said, man, nah, I just the whole sound and everything, man, was good. And then he was like, yeah, but like when he had the threesome with the two white girls with the coke, we was all crying, laughing on the Zoom, bro. But I just thought it was so good because I'm like, okay, I love and one of the dudes was like, he only listened to one season because he's like, and me is like, oh, I can't be influenced because I gotta now we creating, I gotta stop. But now he said he gotta go ahead and listen to the rest because he's missing out. And so, but yeah, it was just good stuff, man.
You so good at that though. That's hard for me to do. I ain't gonna lie.
What part?
For me to be like, hey, what's your favorite Spike Lee moment? Like, that would seem weird for me to say.
What
you
you
good at that? You're more creative in artistry in that sense of it. Like I think so much from a like business and not wanting to like not even overstep. I don't even know what the right word is for it, but not just be too invasive.
You know what it be though with you?
Yeah.
It be you. I think you be thinking too many things define your character. And so you're so you're so very meticulous about everything that you feel if I do this, it's going to define me in a certain way. And nigga, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, bro,
and it ain't even other people's perception. Though. I want to be clear about that because you're right. But it ain't even define me in a certain way to other people. I'm not worried about how other people are going to look at me. I'm more so concerned about how I'm going to feel about myself in doing it.
So you think you'd be lame for asking that? Say, what's one of your favorite on deck moments?
Yeah, that'll make me feel kind of lame. And I'm not calling you lame for doing
no. I don't take it that way.
I have two different personalities.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, like that's just it may be due to like the friends I grew up around because we didn't do that. But like I just. Hey, what's your favorite on deck moment would be crazy to me,
bro. But like, it's like, do you rock with me for real? Because like, you want assurance, right? You want to know, like, do you rock with me for real? Okay, if you do, then what's one of your favorite moments then?
But see, that's like calling a nigga out, though, right?
It's not really calling. It's not really calling them out when you're asking.
You don't really care.
No, it's asking a question. Like I'm asking the question. I mean, sure, the approach could come off like that if you approach it in that way. Oh yeah. All right, what was one of your favorite? Yeah, but if you say, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all listening, man. If you don't mind me asking, what were one of your favorite moments, man? I know we done a lot of episodes, and y'all seem to be really into it. What one of your favorite moments? Like, what do you tend to like that episodes that we do? Boom.
No, that's fair.
Fair point. But yeah, no. So shouts out to them, man. I appreciate it, man.
Shout out to Leroy, man. Question I have for you before we get into, and this may not take that long at all, before we get into our routine and that whole situation. You're not a person that's, you've said here, you're not actively involved in current events. Right? Okay. Is that a fair statement to say? That's fair. So what happens when your daughter, she's 9, right? And what happens when your daughter who's 9 or your son who's growing up, what happens when they want your opinion and perspective on these things as a father? Okay. Like, how do you keep them from buying into, oh, I seen this on TikTok and this is like what I want to do versus this is what we do in our household, or this is the thought process that you should have as a child? Well, not even as a child of mine, because that sounds crazy, but your influence on them in things that are happening in the world, if you're not necessarily staying attuned or abreast to those things. Like if they come to you with something and you're like, well, shit, damn, I ain't know nothing about that. As a father, how are you addressing that? Like, what do you feel like your responsibility is in leading them in the right direction based off the stuff that they're seeing? Because just because you're not open to it, that doesn't mean that your daughter ain't on TikTok.
That don't mean it ain't happening.
Things. Exactly. So when they come to you with it, what would be your approach?
Well, I mean, by the time they start getting older, especially Zaire, you're not a copy and paste. You know what I mean? Like, you know how to send a link like that. Like, you sending something, like, just even if you ain't sending them behind it. But like my daughter, for example, like She could bring stuff up. She knows sometimes, and then sometimes a commercial pop up. You'll see certain things or some, then you kind of see her opinions like, why are they doing that, Daddy, or what is that going on, So you pick up things, but if there's something that they want their dad's opinion on, they're definitely gonna fill me in. It's like if you're not gonna fill me in, I may not necessarily know, but I still I'm not completely oblivious. I'm probably more oblivious than your average person, but that's by choice, not by a habit, I guess. That's an intentional thing because I'm protecting myself, my mental sanity. But they can come to me anytime, and it's like, okay, I'll ask another question, like we do on Another Week of the Books. Okay, so what is your question? What do you mean? Well, what do you think about it? Okay, now we start going from there. Because I don't know if you have an example, like, okay, they see something on TikTok, like,
I do have an example.
Okay, give me an example.
I saw this clip, and it was this white lady and her little girl, and the little girl was eating at the table, and the little girl was telling she might have been 3, 4, and she was telling her mom, she was like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a boy. And I'm going to marry a girl. And her mom was like, well, like that ain't like I don't she was trying to gently tell her that like that wasn't what's up, but she was still leaving the door open for if there was something that her daughter wanted to explore as far as being whatever that she could address, but at a later point in time. You're 3, 4 years old. I don't know how old the little girl was. She could have been older than 5.
She might, yeah, right.
But she's telling her, like, we'll revisit this. And the little girl was adamant. She was like, no, I'm going to be a boy and I'm going to marry a girl when I grow up. Like, she was adamant.
Mm-hmm.
So people were killing the mom in the comments because the mom wasn't like, you're right, babe. Like, you're that's what you want to do, then that's what you can do. Like, the mom was more so like, relax. Like, I ain't saying that you can't do this. I ain't saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying any of those things, but I'm just saying you're 3 to 5 years old right now and you sound crazy. And I ain't gonna tell you that. I'm gonna find the best way as a parent to tell you that right now, but you sound crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me wonder, one, like, where would this little girl get that from at that age? And 2, if it's genuine, like, and I ain't been abreast, if it's genuine and me as a parent, I'm not following every day on what they're saying about this stuff in the news and where she may have gotten her information, I may feel under, I don't have the right artillery to fight what she may be hearing at preschool, from her preschool teachers, from her friends. So that would have taken me aback a little bit, like, now, where in the fuck did she get that from? And I just thought it was interesting because people who, like what you said, I ain't really into that day-to-day, like what you said, you're not really into the day-to-day of current events and wanting to know what's going on in the world. But when your child hits you with something like that, like, what's the response?
Yeah, I mean, I think what it sounds like, the mom did the right thing, but I think that,
to me, she did. I agree with the mom, but a lot of people were kicking her ass in the comments, like, well, you should raise her up, like,
don't get me even started, bro. Like, y'all don't want me, y'all cancel me. Like, so don't even get me started. We will, but y'all cancel me. Just know that. But I just think that it's a thing where, like, for our daughter, like, we're very intentional. Like, she's not allowed to get on YouTube because the algorithm on YouTube
at 9 years old. Because they're content creators that are 9 years old, right?
And then there's content creators that make content for 9-year-olds that are not 9-year-olds, that are 20-something and 30-something. So the algorithm, you get 3 positive videos, then you get this one that's kind of weird, a little suspect. And you get another 3, then you get 2 positives, then you get another 2 that are not. And my daughter, like, I had to really put her on punishment at one point. I said, okay, you ain't getting your tablet for 3 weeks because I told you not to get on YouTube, because I can't control the consumption in which they're putting this in your face. And I told you I don't want you on here. You can get on your apps, do your, you got your dolls, you got your art, you create this, create outfits and all that. That's cool. I like that. Even if you watch kids stuff, like you watching like the little kids, whatever, like the Black family, they do like little family stuff or like pranks or fun. Like, okay, cool. But no YouTube though, because I can't control that algorithm. And if I can't, I don't have time to monitor at that level. I don't have time to monitor your every move. It's too many moving pieces as a father, as a husband, too much. I can't do it. So I have to make that decision, say you can't be seeing that. So I think a lot of parents that when they end up getting exposed to the information, now sometimes it could be a school thing, it could be on the bus thing, it could be a lot of other places. It ain't just tech. You can get that in real life. But I think our job as parents, where you can control it. And for me, it's like you can't get on YouTube because that'll expose you to a whole world that I'm not ready. And we've had conversations with her. So it's definitely like, hey, look.
How receptive was she of those conversations?
Very receptive.
She got it?
She got it. I mean, it's because we try to make sure we don't leave no stone unturned. We try to be understanding, not just do this, do that, do this. This is right. This is wrong. No, we try to be understanding and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. People are going to try to say this and this. We try to make sure we try to cover everything with that. So, that's pretty much how I go.
Yes, Russ. That's good stuff.
Yeah, but that's wow. I grew up with a girl that was like that though. And it's crazy. In our era in the 90s, like I grew up with a girl that always, you remember back in the day playing house?
Yes.
Okay. There was a girl that always wanted to be the dad. Like, bro, I'll never forget this. I was like, we're not, bro, in the 90s, we're not putting the pieces together. Like, she's like, I want to be the dad. We was like, no, you can't be the dad.
Do you have any updates on her today?
Nah, man, I wish.
What lifestyle she chose?
I wish. Like, bro, yeah, man.
See, we used to have a chick that always wanted, like around the neighborhood, she always wanted to play basketball and football with us.
Oh yeah.
But that never made us think that she was like,
going in that direction.
Yeah, it never made us think that.
I mean, tomboys were a lot bigger back then.
Yeah, they were. But I know her to this day. Well, not know her, but I'm still aware of her presence, like around the city of Nashville and stuff. I think she's like, I'm pretty sure she's straight. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like that was just something she liked to do. When she got to high school, though, she was a beast in basketball because all she used to do when she was young around the neighborhood with us is just like play with the boys.
Bro, my sister was like that. Like she still play video games today.
Yeah, like she was one of those. This lady that I'm talking about, she was one of those. I'm gonna play video games. Y'all playing football? Okay, I'm playing too. Y'all playing basketball? I got first pick. Like,
bro, what happened? What happened to the Tomboys?
Bro, what are you doing?
What happened to the Tomboys? Like, I feel like we don't see that.
There's this crazy thing out there now that it's the most insane thing that I've ever seen. Of course, social media. It says that men that like tomboys are subject to homosexuality.
They always try to do us like this.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, all right, y'all. Bro,
relax.
People don't even. Okay, I guess I get where they're coming from.
We're gonna do an episode, I guess, about that and the whole thing that we talked about with the little girl, because that was crazy to me what the little girl was saying.
No, that was like that was out there.
Like, what do you?
That early is very out there. It's very out there. But yeah,
but as a parent, I would think that she picked that up from somewhere.
She definitely picked it up from somewhere. I think that you gotta that when you get that conversation, now you gotta get the monitoring on like a mother. Like you gotta be on it. Like, oh, what you doing?
Okay, so that was my question too.
I definitely popped up on my daughter. Like, what you doing?
When you start hearing stuff, when you start hearing stuff that ain't from your household, like what's the method that you taking? Like, okay, well, where
bro, I always ask my daughter when she knows something or she got a phrase or whatever. I'm like, where you get that from? She's like, oh, I made it up. No. Where you get that from? Where you see that? Hey, I always, because I'm like, nah, because I'm not gonna say I pay attention to every detail, but I try to, like, when stuff stands out, I'm like, oh, whoa, where'd that come from? Where you hear that? Somebody on your bus at school? Where you get that?
That's good though, because you're not too busy to miss that stuff.
Yeah,
I think in my generation, my parents, my mom, she was too busy to get pick up on that shit.
Same.
Like, ain't no, like, I don't even know what you got going on, bro. Like,
like you
like,
good,
don't even,
good.
So exactly. You good, exactly. Here go the key. Let yourself in.
Boy.
Boom. But yeah, that's dope. All right, let's get into it, Mo. Tell me
All
what you
right.
had
So
on
shouts out to
the
Joe again. Like we,
motivation behind this. Did
yeah.
he
So
hit you
we,
up about this? Or this was
he
me and you talking?
nah did not hit me up. He hit you up about it. So you want to give a little bit of that, or maybe you already gave that, and we can just get into it.
Yeah, I already gave it. Then we can go
Okay.
right into it.
Well, Joe just hit us up about like black men, their routine and their structure, like how they go about things. And we never really talked about this. It's like routine and structure. And it's something that could be beneficial, but it's also something that can be detrimental. So I think it could be an interesting conversation that we'll have here on another week in the books before we let y'all out of here, of course. So starting off, we're letting y'all right into our lives. And people have been dying to know. Spike Lou. What is the Spike Lou at this very moment, day to day routine on when you start your Monday? What does that look like?
Work, work first and foremost. And that's one of the things I want to get into
Hold
as
on. Do
we
you
talk
grab some
about
food
this.
on the way? Do you cook yourself? Like, hold on. You just jump and just work. You don't wake up work. Like, come on, bro.
I do, bro.
You work
That's
from
it.
home?
Some not Monday and Tuesday, but the rest of the week I do. So
Is
Monday
that
and Tuesday, you
optional?
talk about nah, it's mandatory.
Oh, gotcha.
They try
Okay.
to make their money back from paying the rent in these office buildings. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, to answer your question, for me, I'm not a person that likes to eat a lot in the morning time. So my morning routine isn't filled with any other thing other than I get up, get ready, get rolling. That's my thing. Like I'm not here to I ain't fixing no toast, no eggs. I ain't drinking no
You
milkshakes,
should probably do
no
that.
protein shakes. Yeah, people have told me that before, but I just
I know.
it's not anything that I usually do. Like
You gotta
I'm
you
not
gotta
taking
force it at
time out.
first. It'll change your
I rather have
portions
just
later.
I rather just have a black coffee. Just give me a
Okay.
black coffee and we rolling. But I'll get
What?
that when I get to the office. But when you're
Okay.
talking about Monday, waking up routine, Sunday night, I know, okay, I got to prepare to get up earlier than I usually get up during the week for these first 2 days. So I'm trying to lay down a little earlier, try to turn stuff off, disconnect a little earlier.
Give
Sunday
me a
night, I want
time.
to go to bed a little earlier, before 12.
Okay.
I want to be in the bed before 12 on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that way I can wake up by 6:20,
You gotta be in the office at
6:15,
what time?
somewhere around 8.
Okay.
So the Atlanta traffic and the drive, you got about like from the time I wake up to the time you got to be in the office and putting on and talking to people, you got about an hour and 30 minutes. So I throw a podcast on while I'm on my way to work. While I'm
Well,
like
what's the travel time?
about an hour 20 at least.
So you running it like really close though.
Yeah. I want all
Niggas.
my sleep.
Niggas.
I want all my sleep. I'll be pulling up about 7:50, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
y'all do with that what y'all want to. Huh? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But
I got you.
my most important thing is the podcast that I listen to on the way in.
Okay.
Audible, book, or podcast was just something that's gonna get me prepared for dealing with people, dealing with a new start of the week, all the stuff that people that listen to this show know that I ain't to the small. Hey, I rushed your weekend. Like, bro, get out of my face, bro. It's like 8:10 in the morning, bro. Why are you even talking to me right now?
What do you say when they
But
say that?
oh, good, man. How about yours? Cool. Headphones back in.
I'm
You see
surprised
my
you even
headphones
asked
in
about
it?
theirs. Like I thought you'd be like, oh, it's good. And they just go on.
No, I try. I'm not as crass as in real life as I come off on here. This is a much more free.
Because
This
you
is a
definitely
much
say,
more
oh, it
free
was good.
space.
Keep moving.
Yeah, I would love to do that. But no,
I've definitely done that,
I
bro.
would.
Like when I know I got a
I've
lot to
done that
do,
before
I'll
too.
hit
But
niggas with the,
yeah,
oh, it was good. Like that's it.
yeah, I've done that before too. But it just ain't like that ain't my routine. And we
Mm-hmm.
talking about routine.
Routine, yeah.
So yeah, I'll the most important thing for me on Monday morning is making sure I got a good night's sleep the night before and making sure that I got something motivating to listen to on my drive. Whether it's a book that I've just found out, I just started listening to the 1 minute conversation. Shout out to AB. That was his
Mm-hmm,
recommendation
yeah.
on deck this past week. That was really dope. I listened to that Monday and Tuesday. Or a good podcast. Worldly events, current events where I can be abreast of things that are going on if somebody comes up and they want to ask me about it. From that point in time until about 5, I'm working. Just dedicating most of my time to the company that I work for, every like maybe lunch break or maybe 15 minutes I'll put towards, okay, I gotta put something together for, is the mic still on this week? I gotta put something together for on deck this week. I gotta see what Mo thinking for another week in the books this week. What episode are we looking at for good earners this week? Is there something I need to do for full frames per second movies that I need to watch to put on the schedule for this week? All of that is happening on Monday. I'm trying to figure that out. Like, what am I doing? Because we record Monday night, me and AB. So usually AB has sent, or I've sent him a rundown for Sunday or on Sunday for Monday that we're going to record the next day. That happens, get off of work. Now, here's the thing that I have issue with the most, and what makes me, as Brentel said, not stick my chest out and be like, own that shit, because when I'm done with the work, because of what I do and what it takes, is like being in sales and talking to people and extracting these conversations from them, like the difficulty in that most of the times, and then you're talking about another hour in traffic going home. What I try to avoid, but I'm not really great at, is like when I get here, continuing to do stuff that's going to further this. Like most of the times I'll get caught in let me just get this day up off of me. Let me do whatever I do to
room for nothing else.
relax. Yeah, let me do whatever I do to relax. And then I'll do whatever I need to do after this. But that usually doesn't happen. What usually happens is I get here about an hour before we record. We were recording at about 7:30, and then from 7:30 to 9:30, we're doing on deck, and then 9:30, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the office tomorrow, so I'm trying to lay down before 11, and I gotta get back. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, that's usually how it goes on Mondays and Tuesdays. Tuesdays is an extra long day for me because engulfed in that, waking up at 6, going to the office, leave the office, then I go to on DeadEnd Studios because we do DeadEnd Sports on Tuesdays. So I had this gap from 5 to 9 when we record with DeadEnd travel time, maybe the hour, where you're trying to I don't, it sound like it's boring to people.
No, it's
But
the work.
yeah,
Like,
just
people need to hear this. This is the work. They look all glamorous. This is the work, though.
yeah, true. But it sounds like it's boring. So I ain't gonna be too much longer. But yeah, I go from
I'm
off
here
work.
for it. Like, we don't know these things. Like, people don't know what
Okay.
Spike Lee would get into. So give it to us.
Cool. So I would go from off work on Tuesday. Tuesday is my longest day. Like Tuesday, I wake up at 6 and I don't go to bed about 1, because we ain't through recording DeadEnd Sports till about 12:30 and 1 o'clock with
Are
drive
y'all doing
time and everything.
multiples? Are y'all doing multiples that day?
Nah, we would start recording at 9. We get done recording about 11:30 to 12. And then one drive time kick in for me going back to my crib.
Okay,
About an hour away from the studio. We done at about 1. I'm done at about 1 o'clock on Tuesdays, which leads to a long ass Wednesday. Because Wednesday now I've been going from 6. I mean, Tuesday I've been going from 6 to 12, even though it's what I love to do and I ain't complaining about it. But that Wednesday morning, what we were just talking about earlier, with time coming by so quick, it's amazing how that end time on Tuesday and that start time on Wednesday are so close together. It feel like it ain't no time. It feel like 2 or 3 hours, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yep.
But now Wednesday you wake up, boom.
But you at the crib though.
True.
Okay.
At the crib, getting that in, go to work, do your 8 hours at work.
It probably helps though.
In between, it does. It helps a lot. But in between time at work on Wednesdays, what I'm really trying to figure out, I got to narrow down what we're going to be talking about on Sunday for Is the Mic Still On? I need to narrow down what we're going to be talking about on Thursdays for It's Another Week in the Book. There's not a lot for good earners.
So working from home, that provides that caveat to be able to kind of tie down all the last little finishing touches of what you got to do podcast wise.
Yes, it helps. It definitely helps.
Okay.
It definitely does. But just not having the travel time and have to commit so much time to driving and doing so much, that's the biggest thing about it.
That is
like,
a lot,
even,
bro.
It is. It is. It's hours.
It really is. You lose a lot of time on that.
But again, the thing about, and I think this is what Dro was alluding to when he was asking about this, the thing about my schedule or my routine that bothers me the most is a lot of it is catered to my job. I wish
Right.
a lot of it was catered to this
Mm-hmm.
because then I could be a lot more productive
Bro.
because then I could get a lot more fulfillment out of what I'm doing. So, and this is probably one of the biggest parts of this conversation that we'll have amongst you and I. What I'm trying to figure out and what drains me the most is how do I make that switch from catering to a 9 to 5 because it pays my bills and it makes my lifestyle what I'm able to live versus I want to cater most of my time to this because if I cater most of my time to this versus trying to squeeze it in, then I'm going to get more lucrative results from it. But having a 9 to 5 robs me so much of you got to do this for work. You got to do this for work. You got to wake up at this time. You
You
got to
got to
be at
change your
this place.
lifestyle.
When you say that, what do you mean?
You got it. So you got to change. See, you're in a position that just know you're in a position that you got a lot more flexibility in regards to work ethic.
A lot of people say that. My homeboy said that to me.
Well, because what can happen
you don't got a
is,
wife, you don't got kids.
yeah. So what? Well, because you got opportunities like it's me, myself, and I. You know what I mean? So what can happen is it's like, okay, well, I'm trying because you're trying to have both, but like if you want to be nose to the ground or boots to the ground, I got to get it over here. And you change your lifestyle. You start to budget everything down. You say, okay, I can work part-time and I treat the pod as a full-time. So now my living expenses start to navigate in the direction of a part-time. If I own my house, then maybe I need to consider, should I sell and downsize to something that is more for you start making those adjustments because you need the less pressure of being, if you really want that, then you are able to do that without having to conversate with nobody. Okay, let me talk to my realtor. Yo, I'm trying to put this on the market. I make this much. If I go part-time, my job offers it, I can work these hours from 8 to 12. I got 4 hours out of the day. That'll sustain the money I need to be able to take care of all of this. And I now from 1 o'clock or 1:30 traveling, I'm beginning whatever I need to do. Now I got more time. Now I can cook. Now I can write. Now I can, now I can put time and studying this marketing. I can, but that would take a sacrifice, and so that's the hardest thing to be able to do that. That's the wave I've been trying to be on, but I don't have the luxury to do that because it's not just me.
Wife.
Yeah. But for you, like I said, it's like one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take my gear. I got my whip. I got this. Here's how I'm gonna do it. I need to make, because that was my goal when I came to Florida. I was intending to go part-time so I could put more time into the pod. So, but things worked out a little differently. So I think that if you want to be able to do it, you're in a position to be able to do it. You just, it may take a little more strategic planning for that, but you can definitely do it if you're okay with kind of scaling it to more of a minimal thing. But if you're trying to juggle both, you're going to keep kind of being in that position until the pod cracks. You know what I mean? But then again,
you're right. That's what I've tried to do. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said, but then again, 10 years later, that's where you say, okay, nigga, let's figure out how to.
Well, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
No, but you're absolutely right, and that's the approach that I've taken over the last year and a half, 2 years. Like I've scaled back tremendously on what I do and places that I go, even relationships and things like that I've had. Like I'm really diving into this, and I've made those cutbacks. The thing that that makes it most difficult is the results not being instantaneous. Right? So you make those cutbacks and you're doing those things, but you're still, though you're making progress, is not the progress that you thought that you would see or that you expected. So now you're like, okay, is this worth my time? Because I know that I can do it and I'm seeing people around me do it, which is why I'm thankful for the opportunities I have with DeadEnd and even, like I said, working with you and Rich. Like I know people are interested in this. And then even going to DeadEnd and doing the work that I do there, I see people are making money from this and they're not working doing this. However, it's taken me a lot longer than I thought that it would to be able to do that. So for me, the biggest issue that I would have is we are transparent on this show. What I worry about is my routine effective? Right? Like what I'm doing conducive to me as a person, just, oh, I want to do this and I'm enjoying doing this, or is it conducive to the lifestyle that I want to lead, and knowing that I'm learning what I need to learn, I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm applying what I need to apply. Therefore, I know that this will pay off or get me to the point that I want to get it to someday. At some point in time, well, sometimes it feels defeating, or it feels like, man, this is taking too long, or I could apply this time to something else and be making a lot more money. But I don't love that shit. I don't want to do that like I want to do this. So that's the biggest beef that I have with my routine. You're absolutely right in what you say. But for me and my routine and trying to wrap my head around it, it's like, when will this be worth it?
I think a
lot of people
already worth it.
What makes you say that?
Because look at what you're doing. What I remember, my bro hit me. He wasn't even in the podcast space like that. He was just like, because he's doing his own thing, trying to figure it out too. And he was just like, bro, what are we scared of? He's like, what's the worst that can happen? You go back to doing what you already doing, nigga? I was like, hey, bro, I don't know why that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I mean, I guess it ain't that bad. I mean, if I had to go back to doing what I'm doing now, I mean, I could do it. So then what? Then he's like, well, what are you scared of?
I think that's the scariest thing too, though. That's the scariest thing, is looking at that thing that you're doing and knowing, like we spoke of earlier, that I'm not in love with that. And if this thing that I love doesn't work, am I going to be stuck doing this?
What's your
perspective? Am I going to be stuck doing this thing that I don't even really give a fuck about? It just makes me money.
What's your perspective may change on it then? Because then you may not look at it like you did before. You're like, okay, damn, I really put myself out there. Okay, maybe this ain't for me, or okay, nigga, this bubbling, it's about to crack. But so then when you go back over here, like I've done that where I was in the graphic field, then I went over to the teaching field. I was like, man, I want to do something different. Totally, I'm going all the way in. When I went over there, I was like, dang, I realized it ain't really for me. Then when I went back and looked at going back to the graphic field, I realized, I said, you know what? I'm actually all right with this. This is all right. You know what I mean? Perspective and experiences change your perspective on things, even if it's the same thing. But like, that's where it is. It's like, it means that much to you, then you got to start moving accordingly. You're still treating it like a side chick. And so it's going to always serve that way. I feel like if you really want it to be wifey to you, then you got to move accordingly. And it is going to cost you, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's not going to be, it may not be the initial payoff, but what it allows you to be able to do, I feel, is that while I'm doing the normal schedule stuff that I do when it comes to podcasting, I now have over and beyond time. I mean, how do they market it? Okay, what can I do? Who can I pay? Who do I talk to? You're now creating these other areas of things I can try. It could fail, it could work, but I got room to do it now. I don't have the damn pressure to feel like, damn, my rent $3,000 or my mortgage is what, you know. Now I'm like, okay, cool, I can manage this regardless. So you giving yourself a little bit more room for it. Because I mean, if you look back over your life, it's like, you look at back over your podcasting career. Have you done something? I mean, you've done radical things over the time, I'd imagine. I mean, moving to Atlanta and, like you say, relationships and some of the things, you've made these steps towards this radical step. But now you're at the point like, nigga, it's got to work. Like Biggie Smalls in the biopic. Like, nigga, this got to work. I need my college tour. This got to work. You know what I'm saying? So
what's Biggie Smalls in the biopic?
Well, you remember the biopic where he was selling dope and then he came back. Well, his boy got locked up. And he went back to Diddy.
The Notorious movie.
Yeah, Notorious. And he was just like, hey, bro, basically like, yo, whatever we got to do, I need this to work. And he stopped selling dope. You know the story as far as that.
That's where I am with it right now.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's you're there and you're doing the work, but you still have the stresses of work life. So I think that if you're in a prime position as far as like I said, when it's just you. I know, and I'm not making it like, oh, it's a cakewalk, because you got burdens and things to carry too. So I'm not making it like your walk is so much easier, but I am telling you that the cost level and the risk level, as much as you want to be in your head and we overthink things, if you're not scared to fail, nigga, go for it. That's it. Like, that's all I would say. If you, nigga, you got family to care about. If I got, hey, I might have to step back here. Who cares about what people think of, like, or what you think about yourself? I don't care. I got to know I put it all on the line. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But you got to ask yourself every night you going to bed, out this Monday, or your Tuesday, I got this long day. Nigga, did I take that chance? I got to know, because I don't want, I think J. Cole had a line like, what's worse than death? A regret-filled coffin. And I was like, I mean, that always stuck with me. It's like, nigga, do you want to regret? Like, nigga, I probably could have while I wasn't married, or why I didn't have kids. I probably could have.
That's a great point. Before you get into your routine, because I know people want to know as a single father, that's one of the biggest things that someone that I would deal with is like, you said, take that chance. What is that chance responsibly? Because you still got to eat, you still got to pay bills, you still have these responsibilities as a man that you have to live up to. So when you say take that chance, a lot of us, and I'm removing this from just Spike Lee and talking to the people listening to it who can relate. A lot of us who are doing one thing to pay the bills versus I have this other thing that I'm passionate about and I want that to pay the bills. Every day realizing, understanding what was the chance that I needed to take? What were the things that I needed to do? How did I need to show up regardless of how I felt about work or how I felt about whatever interaction that happened that I wasn't too fond upon? The chances that fall in your lap that you need to take on a week, daily, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis, and realizing those opportunities. That's one of the biggest struggles of a routine. Where do chances fit in my routine? Like, yeah, I know I got to do this every day, but where do I get the chance to go out and network with people? Where do I get the chance to go out and randomly, like what you were saying, come across a person who I'm going to spend 30, 20 minutes talking to you about the podcast just because I love this shit and I know it's dope and you could use this. And who knows who you know. I told that story on here before about a motherfucker that did a podcast and it was 100 people listening, but one of them was Oprah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows who you're going to be able to talk to or spread the information to about what you do, and having that energy to do so within your routine. See, that's one of the things that I struggle with the most, and being like, okay, I'm going through the motions, I'm going through my routine. However, I do need to find the time within this to take my shots, to do my Steph Curry thing, to pull up from half court and see the motherfucker that's listening to the podcast and be like, hey, have you ever heard Another Week in the Books? Make sure you check it out. It'll be dope for you. Something like that. Like taking those chances within your routine, that's where you find success at. I just want to address that.
Those are great points. I think that I see exactly where you're coming from, but I think the verbiage of it, the wording, how do the taking the chances fit into my routine? I think I think it needs to be the other way around. How does my routine fit into the chances I need to take? Because you're trying to make it that, because the reality is, bro, you've maxed it out. You're getting everything off in this routine. But you feel like I'm missing something. I could be doing more, but this is all that I'm capable of doing at this moment based on the routine I've established. So you don't need to say, how can I fit the chances in the routine? You need to say, how can I fit the routine and the chances I need to take? And so that's why I go back to what I was saying, where it's like, okay, let me step away from the routine. Let me look at just life in general. Okay, I need to drive my expenses down. Because if I drive my expenses down, I drive my income down. As far as I don't need to make as much because my expenses are down. If I don't have to make as much, I got more time now. I don't have to work as much. So if I don't have to work as much job-wise, that opens up more time over here. And that's why I always start at, how do I drive expenses down? And that to me is a great starting point to say, okay, how can I do? I mean, of course, we know inflation, everything is ridiculous. So sometimes it's not as smooth as it sounds, but if you can drive the expense down, you can drive the hours down. If you can drive the hours down, you can open up the hours of recording or other things that you need room for. It's like, nigga, I got 2 hours a day just to be on YouTube, just listening to people telling me how to market. I got time today to be able to just, get on a Zoom call that was free. I can listen to this couple, how they, whatever. But I think overall driving down your expenses, because that you drive expenses down, your pressure changes. I don't have the pressure to be able to perform over here, and I'm driving it all the way down. But you got to be able to be okay with that in your internal, because you want it like that. And that's how I feel like I would love to be able to do something like that. But it's obviously, like I said, it's more of a challenge for me to be able to do something like that. But like, that's really what it is. It's like, if I drive this down, make these moves, kind of set this up this way, I can be able to I'm getting an additional 8 hours a week.
Interesting. So what say you? What say you about your routine?
I'll be brief. My routine, I don't got no time, bro. Like, so the night before, let's say going into Monday, Sunday after, if I go to service on Sunday, after that we get home about 1, 2, make dinner for the day. We'll eat that. Maybe catch a family movie. At night, I gotta pack my lunch for the following day. Pack my daughters for the following day. We rest, but now with our son, it's a little more tricky, a little more challenging. Try to get rest where I can. Get up in the morning. I got to get my daughter up and get me up. And her school she's not going to school where we live, and I don't work where we live. I work probably 45, 55 minutes out. And her school, I go to the bus stop where she was when we was living with her grandpa. So I pack her stuff. I got to get her up. Sometimes it's like 3 times I got to wake her up, like, get up, we got to go, So I got to really like whip the horse, so to speak, like, hey, come on, we got to go. I got to hit the shower in the morning. And then it's small things like packing lunches, but also like I got to get podcasts downloaded, because I'm like, I need something to get me through my work day. And sometimes it's a challenge because I got to find general interest. I know for you, man.
You don't got Wi-Fi at work, right?
I don't got Wi-Fi at work. So I got to pre-download everything so I'm ready to go for the day. That's why I'd be like, man, can y'all upload On Deck earlier? Can y'all upload Culture Garden earlier? Because I'd be like, yo, let me get it downloaded before I leave the crib. That's why this episode comes out 5:30 in the morning. So anybody want to get it, you got it, boom, you can, anyway. But so that takes work. I got to do a little research, and sometimes it's longer than I would intend to. And so there's that. Then it's getting the clothes out, all that, go head to work. Then, of course, the work thing is a work thing. Get off, go to the stop, wait for my daughter to get off the bus. I might have some phone calls, like I chopped it up with Rick, or I chop it up with school, or chop it up with whoever. Sometimes just talk about whatever. I come back to the crib, and then I got to immediately jump in to fatherhood. Okay, let me get my son off your hands. I try to hurry up because, like, today she's really tired. So I'm like, okay, I need to get in there. I'm still tired. You know what I mean? We both tired, but like, if you're tired, that is really a problem, because you're here all day with him. I need to get him off your hands. So that's the objective. Get him off your hands as much as I can before I got a podcast or whatever it is. Feed him, burp him, Of course, you get everything kind of down here, trying to make family time as much as possible. But while doing that, I got to be thinking internally, what are we talking about this week? I got to find a window. Okay, they sleep. Let me try to watch Sopranos, get my notes going. Or because I'm pulled so often. I got to really be cognizant of when can I do these things, because I don't want it to ever feel like, dang, you ain't got no time for us. And that is a very, very challenging thing. And so sometimes it costs it. Like I talked about earlier episode this year, like it costs, and it's very hard for me, but I make it happen. And at least she's on the page of understanding that this is my school. So that's pretty much my routine, but it's a challenge every week for everybody that's listening. Like, this is not an easy thing. It sounds smooth and good every time. It's not easy. And even then, like a day like here where we record maybe longer than usual, I still got to turn the episode around, and that's for audio and video, and that stuff is time consuming. So it's real work, when it comes to doing stuff like this. So
how long does it usually take you to turn an episode around?
The video takes more than audio. The audio is not as long because I got it preset. I just pull up the episode prior, and it's the settings is there. I just got to find the music that fits the tone, the mood of what we're doing. But that's the challenge too, because I got to figure out when we change conversations. So I gotta kind of skim through a little bit, and that's probably more time consuming. Skim through to figure out when we talking about something else. And the video is just because the file's so big, so that takes more time and then uploading it. But it's not hard, it's just time consuming. And like when we talk for the time we talk and then doing that, it kind of becomes that. So, but that's a part of the grind, you know. And I love
I would say the biggest dope. For me, the biggest thing about the routine and making it effective is the belief that what I want, I can get. And what that means is like what you were saying to me, like, okay, yeah, you do this and you work and all of these things add into your routine, but how much do you believe in, like what you said, sneaking that time off for the Sopranos? How much do you believe in coming up with the concepts for is the mic still on Tuesday for Sunday? How much do you believe in these things added to my routine will one day have my routine to where the life that I want to leave? As Black men, I think that's the biggest thing that we struggle in. There is no, I want to be very clear about that. There is no instant gratification of having a good routine. That's not how it works. And I think that's one of the main things that Joe and I talked about when we were talking about this topic. The instant gratification of having a routine is, okay, I'm disciplined. I can do the things that I wrote down or that I thought about. However, the things that I want, they're not going to come from doing this on a day-to-day basis. It's going to come from building up, seeing what works, what doesn't, critiquing or, you know, making those small adjustments to what you want to make, like what you were explaining to me. So I think amongst us as Black men, one of the biggest issues or things that we have about routine is we don't get instant gratification from it.
Yeah.
There is no immediate result. Like routine is something that pays off in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Like routine is something that I wish I had as a 16, 18-year-old, 21-year-old kid. Then that teaches me how to do it at 40, 35, whatever. But being that I have different wants that I had then and different things that are influencing my life, my routine needs to be in a place of such where I understand, like, I'm not going to get the benefit of this tomorrow. It's just like working out, like going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I can't go to the gym one day and think that I'm going to get muscles, a six-pack, and be able to be where I need to be. Mm-hmm. It's the routine. That's the thing that pays off. And I think that's the important thing about this conversation, you sharing yours, me sharing mine, is that us understanding that routine is something that has to be implemented and you don't expect results from it. This is just me being disciplined as a person. The result is I'm going to be better, not that this thing is going to change. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching because that's the thing that I struggle with the most. Mm-hmm. Like I should work out more. I should cook more. I should do all of these things more, but the instant gratification of it isn't enough in the sense of, oh, I'm going to go jump rope, run around the block, lift weights every day because I want a better body. Well, that shit ain't going to help me tomorrow, nigga. So I'm going to skip it today.
It makes sense based on your routine.
Yeah, like, so
it makes a lot of sense.
I think we need to understand that biggest thing. And when I say we, is me, mm-hmm. because I skip a lot of shit because I feel like, okay, well, this ain't going to help me tomorrow. However, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now, it definitely will help me adding that to my routine. So I want to tell people that are listening to this that are thinking, oh, well, I got to have this routine. I got to be disciplined and I got to be perfect. That's not it. Mm-hmm. Do it one day, do it 2 days, do it 3 days until it starts to become a habit. Mm-hmm. But understand that it won't be an immediate payoff. That's mm-hmm. one of the hardest things as an adult, trying to do what I'm wanting to do, wrapping my head around is like, look, bro, like
this generation.
Yeah, like I'm not going to be able to have a conversation with somebody about podcasting and what we want to do and add that to my routine. And then a month from now, I've seen the benefits of it. It has to work out within my routine of 6, 12, 18, 24 months. You have to be willing to accept that and do the work behind that if you really want it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we as black men should be more honest with ourselves about the stuff that we really want. Like if you really want something, adding it to your routine and knowing that it will pay off later, that's going to be beneficial to you as a man, to your family, to your progress, to your company, to your business, whatever you want to do. It's going to be beneficial. But if you're looking at it like I want that shit to pay off for me tomorrow, you might have some issues, my nigga. You might have some issues.
Yeah, I just to put my closing statement on, I think Spike, okay, that yeah, and don't be afraid to, like, if you don't have a routine, you definitely need to get one established. You can't be in your wise age like we moving out here on your own man time, and you ain't got no kind of structure. You got to have structure. You can't just be willy nilly with everything. Like, rather you got a woman and family, or it's you dolo. You got to have some structure for yourself. You got to be able, you want to regulate. You got to be, you got to be handy with the steel, so to speak. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got to have a routine or structure to be able to keep a foundation established. So that's necessary. But for those that already do have a routine, don't be afraid to go back and look and say, okay, what do I actually do? How much time do I have? Just like every periodically, you'll go look at your bank statement and you'll say, okay, wait, what am I spending money on? Where's the money going? Same thing with the routine. Where's my time going? It feel like I ain't never got time. Where's it going? Then you start like, oh damn, I watched a marathon of this, or I went to bed early here. I probably, I went out to eat here, traveled this far, and it took this long to get the meal, and I left at this time. I spent 3 hours at the Applebee's. You start to do the inventory on it. So I would say, while a routine is established, you're trying to get it locked in, it's nothing wrong with making the adjustment to say, okay, my routine needs an adjustment. Because again, sometimes, like I was saying to Spike, sometimes what the opportunity is being presented, you need to adjust the routine according to the opportunity, not the opportunity adjusting to the routine. Because how many rappers, actors, entrepreneurs, people go out here, they go homeless, they go broke, they go to the extreme because of their belief system and belief level of what they are going to do. People go to the max. So, and I'm not even saying for either one of us go to the max. I'm just saying go halfway there. And if we can't even, I'm saying if we can't even go halfway there to say, okay, how can I make a crazy 180 in my own regard to try to get closer to the dream? Then, I mean, do you really want it?
Yeah. And like you said, like you brought up a great point there. You have to pay attention to your routine to ensure that it doesn't become mundane, to ensure that it's not just something that you're comfortable. Exactly. It's not just something. I don't have a routine where I'm just comfortable day to day with getting by and doing this. I don't know if it'll pay off. I don't know what will happen from it, but I know if I do this day to day that I can survive. You got to challenge yourself more than that, in the sense of I gotta get up at 5 and exercise. Or like what you were saying to me, I'm cutting it close with the drive time. Or maybe I gotta wake up an hour earlier because I want to meditate or read or do these things that are going to prepare me for the day. What we need to figure out about our routines as black men is not necessarily what is the most convenient thing, but what pushes us the most. Like, it ain't, because that's one of my biggest flaws. Like, I try to find a convenient routine and I get stuck in that, and then I find myself behind. I ain't done what I needed to do or talk to the people that I need to talk to, or have the conversations. Yeah, like you get familiar and you get convenient, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to do this every day because I know that it's going to get me through to the next day. But look beyond that next day and say, okay, well, what's going to get me through to the next year, to the next 3 years, to the next 5 years? And that has to be implemented in your routine. I won't say most of us, I won't put it on a lot of black men. I'm just saying, for me, one of the hardest things in my life right now is making that routine unconvenient. I love convenience. I love I know if I do this, that this is going to happen. I love that. But pushing myself out of that box is one of the hardest obstacles for me, which is why I'm glad that I have friends like you, like Rich, like Dro, that'll ask me about, like Derp, like that'll ask me about things and be like, well, shit, I didn't do that. Now I feel like a piece of shit because I didn't do that. Now I need to go do that because I said that I was going to do that. And I know how these people view me. Not only am I letting them down, I'm letting myself down in the status or the person that I built myself up to do. So you got to be really careful in the sense of I'm not going to get comfortable in a routine that's convenient for me. What I need is a routine that's going to continue to help me grow as a man. It's going to be more beneficial to me and the people around me. That's the place that I'm at right now, and I'm trying to get better at because I'm struggling with it.
No, that's real. No, I hear you. I hear you. And I need some tweaking myself. If I be honest, I need some tweaking myself. I need set days for everything. That way, because especially when you're dealing with women, dealing with wives, girlfriends, they love structure, and I mean the potting and stuff, but there's
back
time
that you need to allocate for that.
Yeah, I got to allocate. So I'm going to work, and I'm closing here. We can wrap this up, but like I go to work and I'm watching TV on the way to work off my phone because I don't have a lot of time to watch TV. So I'm downloading TV off of Prime Video. So I'm watching some. I'm gelling things together because of how tight my schedule is. I'm listening to pods, so I'm catching up or studying things at work while working. I'm, like I said, watching television shows that keep up on what's going on as far as content while driving. I might be doing dishes while I'm watching YouTube, elevating my recipe game. I'm always merging multiple things within the routine. It ain't never just one thing. I could even be with my wife and we're watching something, but I might look over to the side. I'm checking something. I'm constantly doing this because time is so quick. It feels like I got to merge multiple things within the routine, and don't be afraid to do that. But like we talked about, what's our brother name? D that we had on from Wild Black podcast.
Darius Hicks.
Darius Hicks, like we talked about there. Though we got a routine, though we got a structure, you still got to find a way to be present. And that is probably more of my
important. That's
struggle.
Just as important.
Yeah. So go back to the episode, y'all. Go check out that chapter, man, with Darius Hicks, man, D Hicks. That was a great episode being present. So if y'all have any new listeners, go check that out. But Spike Lou, what do you got going on?
What I would say.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But I would say in closing, when you're coming up with a routine and you listen to this and you say, I want to do that, don't come up with the most convenient. Don't come up with the most comfortable, but come up with the most conducive thing as far as a routine as to who you want it to be. Because we can do convenient and we can make that work for us and we can just go in autopilot. We can do comfortable and we can make that work for us because we know we never got to get in our zone. We find this nice little path that we want to live in. But if we do conducive, what's conducive to who you want to be, if we do that, and we're consistently pushing ourselves to, I know I can turn it up a little bit more. I know that I can do that. And not even podcasting. I'm speaking even since you, Mo, like not you specifically, but people listening. I know that I could be a little bit this more loving to my wife or add a little bit more time for this with my kids. When you're coming up with that routine, figure out what's most conducive to the man that you want to be. Not what's most comfortable, not what's most convenient, but what makes you who you want to be in that vision that you see of yourself. That's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I love doing this.
Good episode, Mo.
Yeah, man.
Good episode, man.
Shouts out to Joe, man.
Of this, I didn't know if I had the energy for this, man. But
yeah, you never do.
So every time that I do this, I'm like, well, not every time that I do. I
know what you mean.
Sometimes that I do this, it's like, I don't know if I got it today.
Yeah.
But then shout out to you, shout out to Dro, shout out to the people who contribute to these episodes. Like when we get into it, we really get to get into it, and it's such an authentic place that it's not draining, and I'm not having to look for stuff or look for motivations to do this. It's just natural. This is why I appreciate this space. So it was good. Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to you too. And it's got to bless us. You know what I mean? It's got to bless us while we're trying to bless others. And I'm glad that it does. I mean, it does for you. Like you said, sometimes you don't feel like it, sometimes I don't. But when we get here, it's like, man, I didn't realize I need to say that.
Glad I did that.
Yeah,
I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, I'm glad I did that. You know, so man, shouts out to you, shouts out to us, and shouts out to all the listeners.
Absolutely.
Man, what you got going on before we get out here at this current moment, Spike Lou?
Every everything.
Just type
The
in Spike
latest
Lou.
thing, yeah, just type in Spike Lou. But I think the latest thing that people may be open to is the Shogun review. It's on FX. It's a brand new show. It's one of the highly rated shows on frames per second. We're doing that every Sunday. So go check out the Shogun review. It comes out on Wednesday, Tuesday, I believe, something like that. But if you watch this FX series Shogun and you want to hear our perspective, want to check that out. I just watched Dune, which was a great sci-fi movie. Go check that out if you haven't seen that. Of course, On Deck TV. Of course, this Another Week in the Books. Of course, Good Earners. Of course, DeadEnd Sports. Go any way you want, any type of content you want. I'm probably there.
That's fire. Whatever you're looking for, I got it.
I got it.
That's tight. He's like your neighborhood guy. Whatever you're looking for, I got it.
Hustle man.
Hustle man. Like Spike Lou, hustle man over
what
here.
you want.
Yeah, that's you. Like, that's Spike Lou, the hustle man, the podcast.
I like it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same thing. Oh well, Good Earners. Of course. This on Mondays. Y'all really got to check it out, man. You know, they've been a return. We having fun over there. We do good things over there. And then of course this every Friday. Roll is out there. Y'all can go check that out. Still working on it, of course. Yeah, I think that's about it. I do want to say shout out to School, man. School and School's Guilty Pleasures. Our first guest of the school year of this year. He always shouts us out, man. He just trying to connect the dots, man. And I was listening. I said, man, you know what? Let me shoot the same love over that way. So shouts out to School from Culture Garden, of course, with Rich and Ray P. But School's Guilty Pleasures, man. He shouts us out all the time. So if you listen to School, man, we love you, brother.
With it, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll actually, there it is. So y'all, I think he releases on Friday. So next Friday, of course, along with this, I'll be on there and School's Guilty Pleasures review bad movies. That's the next. We're gonna do Love Don't Cost a Thing. It's the Nick Cannon movie with Christina Milian. So
when he playing the nerd and shit.
Yeah. So that's my joint, man. I love that. That's a good bad movie.
I knew.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I was about to say that sound like a Mo movie. That's a Mo movie.
I love it. It means a lot to me, man.
I might need to do a spinoff on those Mo movies because that's definitely Mo movies.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know it's not good though. But y'all go check. So next Friday, I'll promote it again. By the time y'all hear the next episode, I'll say it's out or whatever. But like next Friday, y'all go check that out. It's gonna be me, School, and a buddy of his, us three. We're gonna review that movie, the good movie, good bad movie, however you want to put it. So that's
School. I'm waiting on my invite, man. He said we was gonna do Tombstone, I think. So I'm waiting on my invite.
Oh, is that one of the bad movies that you really enjoy?
It wasn't a bad movie. Well, okay, I ain't got no bad movies.
It might be a Culture Garden then. It might be Culture Garden.
Yeah, I think that was Culture Garden. Tombstone.
Okay.
I can't think of a bad movie that I enjoy.
Yeah, I would love to hear a bad movie Spike enjoys. I would love to hear that. It's probably something that's nostalgic, but it'd probably be something that's like.
I'd have to think about that.
But y'all can hit us up 470-318-5034, 470-318-5034. Also, y'all can email us awitb2022@gmail.com. Just like Brentel, y'all can show love or just whatever y'all thought was very interesting and y'all want to leave a comment, or y'all can hit us up on Instagram, Another Week in the Books. No spaces. Man, we appreciate y'all.
We out.